Well, friends, good evening and Merry Christmas. It's good to be with you this night. Man, there's a part of me that just wants to say, let's listen to that Christmas proclamation one more time. That was stirring. That's an ancient hymn of the church. If you notice in every line of that hymn, it nails down this event in history. The centuries upon centuries and the dates upon dates. That our faith as Christians, we're not a faith that begins, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. We're a faith that's nailed into space and time, into history. Jesus was born when Caesar, Augustus, had put out the census, when Quirinius was governor of Syria, when Pontius Pilate was governor of Judea. This is not a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. This happened. Friends, we gather this evening just to reflect and to be moved and to be filled with awe and wonder at this incredible mystery that's just beyond words. It's beyond comprehension. It's a mystery that's truly unspeakable, right? The word mystery itself comes from the Greek word muein, which means to shut one's mouth. Some of you are going to use that, I know. Muein, It's those realities before which all words fall silent. It's those realities before which all words fall short. It's those realities before which all categories, all analogies, all our thinking, all our conceptions just break down, and all we can do is just kind of open mouth gasp at what is being proposed to us. Because what's being proposed to us, what we've believed, not because it's, myths made up, but what we believe is that God, the infinite mystery, the creator, the one who whispered a universe into being, God who hung the stars and calls each one by name, God who reached in and formed man from the clay of the earth, God who breathed into man the breath of life and he became a living being, God who called Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, God who formed covenants with the patriarchs, God who rescued and redeemed his people from slavery in Egypt by mighty signs and works of wonder, the God who glowed in a burning bush before Moses and who split the Red Sea in two and who flashed in glory on Mount Sinai, the God who made promises to David. That God became flesh, that he slipped into space and time at a particular time and in a particular space, that God looked like and sounded like and weighed and behaved and cooed and yawned and stretched and cried and nursed and smelled like a newborn baby. That's what we're here tonight to remember and to celebrate. That God really was that vulnerable. He really was that small. He really was that helpless. He really was that human. And the question, friends, the question that's been burning in my heart the past couple days that I was just sitting with again this morning, sitting here in the quiet of the church, asking the Lord to finally, please, God, would you give me a Christmas homily just a few hours ago, is I had nada. I was sitting here thinking about all that, and the question was, what are we supposed to do with that mystery? Right? Like, what are we supposed to do with that? How are we supposed to respond to that? If that's the proposition, if that's why we're here, how am I supposed to respond to that? In my mind, there's only two responses. There really is only two responses. And the first would be something like this, the response of passivity, to respond passively, sort of like from a distance, admiring the story as an observer. Or the other response would be actively, like up close, engaging it as a participant, entering into it. And friends, if I'm honest, there's only one of those responses yields transformation. Like, you are welcome. You are free to, obviously you're here at Mass, but you are welcome to sit here as the observer, passively noticing this story happen. God won't force anything upon you. But what if we did the other approach? Friends, I don't know. This Christmas homily might seem and it might feel different from what you've experienced before. It's certainly different than any homily the Lord has ever given me for Christmas before. Because what I was convicted by this afternoon was I don't want to just talk about this mystery. I don't want to just simply talk about it as if it's just a thing that we can think about. Because that's the temptation. To just cognitively process or begin to try and process what was being proposed by Christmas. I don't want to just simply talk about it. What I want to do is I want to, please God, I want to invite us, I want us to be drawn into it. I want to be drawn into it. That's what I think the Lord wants to invite us into. To not just look at the mystery, but to be drawn into it. Because there's a fundamental error, I think, that we make in our thinking when we approach this mystery, that we think of the Christmas mystery, we think of it like the nativity scene. We think of it as something beautiful that we can just stand in front of and admire, and no doubt, maybe some of you, there's some little ones here at Mass, maybe after Mass, just like in every other parish, you're going to take pictures of the family in front of the nativity scene, and like parents, you'll be saying what I've heard at every single parish I've ever been assigned to in front of the nativity scene. You're telling your little ones, hey, no, don't touch. You can't touch. Just look with your eyes. You can't touch the camel, right? Which was the frustration for me as a kid, on Christmas Eve, being at my grandmother's house. She had this incredible nativity scene that was passed down, beautiful porcelain figures, and I could never understand why I could never, set up the battle with my G.I. Joes and my Power Rangers and the shepherds and the mat. I thought it'd be a good battle, Battle Royale Bethlehem style. I don't know. Land an F-16 on the top of the nativity scene. I don't know. But that's how we approach it, as something static, as something at a distance, something that I just observe. But Christmas isn't static. It's not just a historical reality in the past, before which I just marvel. That's not why we're just here. We're not here just to simply reflect on and think back on something that we just marvel in. Because where does that leave us tomorrow? Where does that leave us on December 26th? Because isn't that how we've approached Christmas so often throughout the years, especially as adults, that we come here and Christmas is this great distraction from all the things that we got going on in our lives. And believe you me, I know we got a lot going on in our lives. But December 26th comes and it's just another day. Christmas isn't just a static reality in the past. It's living. It's here. It's happening. We're swimming in it. It's something you can touch, and even more incredibly, it's something that wants to touch you. Right, friends, if Christmas is ever going to make a difference in our lives, then we need to say yes to the invitation of Christmas. And what is the invitation? It's this. It's to allow Christmas. It's to allow these mysteries. It's to allow this reality into my humanity, into my story, into my life, into my heart, into my stuff. Because Christmas isn't just meant to happen up here. You're not just supposed to sit there as the passive audience watching us do Mass up here. That's not what Christmas is. It's meant to happen in a place. Yes, it happened 2,000 years ago in Bethlehem, but it's meant to happen in you. If it's ever going to make a difference, it has to happen in you. I think that's what the Lord wants to have happen tonight. So friends, if you're willing, again, like I said, this is going to be a different Christmas homily than I've ever given that you maybe ever heard. I want to invite you just for a moment, if you're willing, to just close your eyes and let me just kind of lead you in this. We heard in the gospel tonight. By the way, if you thought I read the wrong gospel, I didn't. I chose the gospel from Dawn. Some of you were following along and I saw you flipping pages. You're like, is Father messing up? No. I could have done the one from Matthew with all the names, but I didn't. You're welcome. Okay. That was my Christmas gift to you. Okay. So we heard in this gospel, the Lord appears to these shepherds keeping watch over their flocks in that region, and they're told this incredible news. They're told where to find this child and what they'll see when they go there to Bethlehem. But we don't hear what happens next. That section gets cut off in the gospel. Here's what happens next. After they say, let us go to Bethlehem. When the angels went away from them to heaven, the shepherds said to one another, let us go then to Bethlehem to see this thing that has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us. So they went in haste and found Mary and Joseph and the infant lying in the manger. They were resolute to go to Bethlehem. Friends, go with them. Just in your imagination right now, in the quiet of your heart, go with them. I want you to feel the cool air rushing past your face, to feel the ground beneath your feet. Feel your heart racing, and with them you crest a hill and you look down and you see off in the distance, you see a cave in the side of a hill. And there's this faint glow of light spilling out of the cave, and you come to the mouth of the cave, and that's when you see them, the ones that the angel told you about. You can barely hear the conversation that the couple is having. It's hushed and it's intimate and it's peaceful. And then one of the shepherds steps forward to explain to them what had taken place, like what you had experienced and why you're there. And that man and his wife in the cave, they look at you. They don't seem terribly surprised by the news you share with them. And you're standing on the edge of the cave and you're peering in. And then that's when you see him, this little bundled thing, a baby, just like any other baby, but also at the same time not quite like any other baby. And you see Joseph, and all of a sudden his eyes meet your eyes. And he's looking right at you. And he waves his hand, he's gesturing for you to come close. And you think, what, who, me? And he mouths, yes, you. And there's this gentle smile on his face. And then all of a sudden, all these thoughts begin to bubble up within you. You're thinking, no, I really shouldn't. Like, I really don't belong here. And I certainly don't belong that close. Like, Joseph, if you only knew me, like, I'm really not that good of a person. People think I am, but I'm really not. I've messed up. I've betrayed people. I get angry all the time at my spouse. I scream all the time at home behind closed doors. I'm so impatient with my kids. I'm such a control freak. I've cheated, I've lied, I've stolen. I've been unfaithful. I've broken my vows. I'm so addicted to feeding my lustful habits. Nobody knows about it. I've done things and I've said things that have really, really hurt the people that I love. Like Joseph, I don't pray enough. I haven't taken this faith seriously. I don't prioritize this. I drink too much. I swear too much. And it just keeps bubbling up out of you. And he can see the battle happening inside of you. He knows that battle because he felt the exact same thing when he discovered who his betrothed was and who she was carrying. This is exactly why he sought to divorce himself from her quietly, not because he thought she was unfaithful, but because he didn't want to expose her to the stuff in him. It was his shame. And it was the angel who comes to him and says, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary, your wife, into your home, into everything that is yours. And he did. And you notice all of a sudden, as all these thoughts are swirling through your mind, you notice that Joseph he's gotten up and he's walking straight towards you. And again, there's this smile on his face, and he puts his arm around you and he says, hey, listen, I get it. But look around. Like as he motions with his hand, gesturing at the cave in which God chose to be born. And he says to you, this isn't a palace. And then he draws in this deep breath through his nose. He says, can you smell that? And you're thinking, of course I can smell that. It's the smell of the animals inside the cave. And he says again, he chose this. He's not scandalized by it. He chose this because he chooses you. And before you know it, all of a sudden you're walking with him into the cave, and you come in and he crouches down with you right next to her and the baby. And Mary is just so radiant and so calm and beautiful in ways that words can't even describe, but also so real and so feminine. And she looks deeply into your eyes, and she looks and says, do you want to hold him? And she all of a sudden, just like Joseph, she sees you hesitating again, and all the thoughts begin bubbling up in your mind, and she stops you and she says, hey, all of that, that's why he's here. That's why he's lying in this manger. That's why he's here. All of that, that's why he longs for you. Do you want to hold him? And without thinking, without processing, without having a moment to hesitate or balk, she just simply places the sleeping baby in your arms, and everything freezes. Because isn't that what a baby does? And if you're with me still in this moment, like this moment, this tiny, seemingly insignificant moment, you with him and he with you, like that's everything. To know that he has longed for this, that he delights in this, that he has dreamt of this, that there's no place he'd rather be than with you. Friends, this is everything. This union, this rest, this peace, this is what the entire spiritual life finally in the end conduces down to. It's letting him be with you. It's letting love you. It's being loved into surrender when our rebellious hearts, full of fear and full of pride, full of hiding and manipulation and shame and excuses, when it all finally stops. When all of the excuses that the earth gives to the treasure all fall short, and we hold the treasure in the earthen vessel of our humanity, and we discover that we are the manger, we are the tabernacle, we are the throne that he's always preferred. And friends, that's Christmas. That's what the entire Christian life is. It's that over and over and over again. And that is what is happening in this Mass, in every single Mass. That's what's being offered to you tonight. That's what's being offered in the reality of your heart as the infant king is being given to you. Not as a symbol, but as he truly is. He's wrapped, not in swaddling clothes, as he once was. He's wrapped tonight instead in the humility of bread. But he's just as present, and he's just as hidden, and he's just as small, and he's just as filled with longing and desire and delight in you. Friends, to open your hearts to that, to receive that, changes everything. Because what we most need, it isn't presents at Christmas. What we most need is a presence in the depths of my humanity, in the depths of my heart. That's why he gives himself to us as a wrapped gift. So friends, this night, may we savor the beauty of this night, for beauty himself has been born, beauty himself has been given, beauty himself is lying in the manger, and beauty himself is longing for your heart this Christmas. Amen.